All right. And sitting right here on set, we're going to switch gears as we wait for General Keane. It is always a pleasure to welcome Alabama Senator
Larry, how are you?
Tommy Tuberville. Thank you, sir. It's a surprise to see you, but nothing ever surprises me in live television. You know, it's interesting. I believe you are a student of history. What Reagan did to Iran took out almost half their Navy. And what Trump did to Qasem Soleimani and his driver, I guess it was, they did that with far less provocation from Iran than what Biden and what the United States has suffered recently. They did it with far less. Biden has suffered much more, higher casualties, God forbid, you know, God look over them, more injured, and he hasn't done anything yet. It's as though Mr. Biden does not read any military history, or maybe any history at all.
Well, history says, Larry, if you're tough on your adversaries, you don't have war. And we're obviously not tough right now. As you said, appeasement is running rampant. If you're a sheep herder in the Middle East right now, you better be careful, because that's what Biden's going to target. He's not going to do anything that's going to upset Iran. I don't know what's going on there. Nobody really does.
Is there any gossip, table talk? He's been meeting nonstop. They haven't done anything. It's now about 48 hours, which itself, the clock is ticking, right? I'm worried, Senator, this is my speculation, that's all it is, that they're going to say, we're going to hit ISIS-K, but they're not going to hit Iran, right? I'm afraid that it's like hitting the Houthis again. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, they're just all Iran back. They're not going to hit the heart of the soul of Iran is money, Larry. And you know what President Trump did. He went right after their pocketbook. He had them almost broke. There were people in Iran selling body parts, you know, organs and things like that to stay alive. They had zero money. Now they're wealthy. Of course, we're not pumping oil and gas, and they're just pumping it and selling it all over the world. And that's the main problem. But again, he's not going to go after that problem.
Among your peers and colleagues, the Senate is back in session today. I know you've got hawks, hit Iran, but what do you think? I mean, is there any sense of what's going to happen? Kirby's not talking. The only thing Kirby said that I didn't like is he talked about ISIS. And I don't think this is really about ISIS, because ISIS is not what Trump took out ISIS years ago. There's a little bit of a sliver left. It's Iran. It should all be about Iran.
Exactly right. The problem we have, Larry, is we have hundreds of bases in the Middle East.
Right.
And those people have to protect themselves. I mean, we've got to really watch what we're doing. We're on the verge of taking our people out of the embassy in Iraq, and we spent almost $1 billion on that thing. It's a war getting ready to happen. You've got people that I don't trust running the show. We've got less experience. Our military is the weakest it's been in many, many years. Since 1991, you know, we've kind of gone downhill with our military. So we've got to be careful what we're doing. We don't have the munitions, and we get out there and start something that we shouldn't. We could have problems ourselves. So we need to protect our people in the Middle East, especially our allies. And it all goes back, you know, Biden's trying to take away munitions from Israel now. I mean, you know, this whole thing just stinks.
You know, if we get General Keane back, we'll see. But Biden always says, and his people always say, we don't want to escalate the Israeli war throughout the Middle East. But Iran has already escalated it. I mean, my point is appeasement has escalated. We've given Iran so much running room, and they've taken it. So they've now escalated the war. It's like everybody's bombing everybody else, including Pakistan and Iran is bombing in Iraq, and of course Hamas in Israel, and Hezbollah, and now Iran is going straight at the United States. I mean, it's already escalated because appeasement never works.
Exactly right. And we're also, Larry, you got to look at this. We're in a different type of world now. In years past, drones weren't used in the military. Now it's a total different weapon. And as you heard, they didn't really realize that was a enemy drone coming in. They thought it would possibly our drone coming back. But drones usually don't circle and come back. Usually, you know, when somebody uses it against you, it's kind of a kamikaze drone.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah, but it's a problem. And again, I feel so bad for the people our people in all these military bases. We've been attacked 160 times. And what have we done? We've gone after some old military arsenals in Yemen, so far away from anything that's really making any difference.
Senator, let's switch gears a bit. We don't have the committee print yet, but some kind of new border deal. I don't understand it. We may have a report on it later in the show. I don't know. 5,000 a day, 8,000 a day. It's kind of like if you're in a delicatessen in New York and, you know, Senator Tuberville, you're number one, your pastrami sandwich, Kudlow, you're number two. The 499,000, God forbid, the 5,000 persons, but then again, they'll never make good on it and keep them out. What's going on here? And are the Republicans going to fall for this?
Yeah, they basically tricked us into a situation where they said, let's see if the Republicans will bite on this. You know, we've already got the laws there to stop them at the border. They're not going to go by them anyway. For 3 years, Larry, they've let people just invade this country, and it's just a shame what's going on. And it's really criminal, to be honest with you, but we have not read the text. Senator Lankford has worked really hard on this. I wouldn't trust the people on the other side that's doing negotiation. It's not going to pass the House anyway, but it's extortion. They're holding the American taxpayer hostage for $100 billion to send to Ukraine. Hostage, if we will do a border deal. That makes no sense to me. Why would we even think about that? Hey, stop the border. I mean, you got the ability to do that. Joe Biden today could say, listen, stop everybody at the border, nobody else comes in, but he will not do it because they want votes.
That's the thing. Former President Trump has said several times in the last couple of days that we don't need any new legislation. This could all be done by executive branch directives, as he did. And Speaker Johnson has said he wants a zero tolerance policy. We don't want 5,000 or we don't want 8,000. We may get some details later in the show, but I'm saying whatever the number is, we want remain in Mexico. That's not in this deal.
One more is too many, Larry. One more is too many.
That's it, right.
Yeah, we've already had 10, 12 million coming. They're saying 7 or 8 million. Larry, I've been there. It has been a disaster, people coming across. And Chinese are coming across with brand new luggage. Now, come on. You can't walk up through Mexico and get there and have brand new luggage with you. Yeah, yeah, you look at the pictures. These guys are 15 to 35. There's not any women coming from China. They're all men. I wonder why. We got huge problems. Christopher Wray even said there's something bad going to happen in this country because of that. And here's a guy that could have gone to the White House and said, hey, you better stop this, President Biden. He won't do it.
If you let in, and again, I don't know the precise numbers, but if you let in 5,000 to 8,000 illegals, there can be big terrorist population in there. In other words, any of that will provide for the potential for terrorism. And, Senator, I might want to add, it's not only terrorism at the southern border, it's terrorism from the northern border, too.
Exactly.
That's becoming increasingly porous. New Hampshire, right, up north, the biggest issue was illegal immigration.
You know where else? They're flying into our airports, Larry. They're flying into airports, getting into this country using false IDs, false passports. It's just a total disaster. But as you said, they're coming from the northern border. I talked to Senator Collins the other day at Maine. She said there was 20 just came across the border in Maine that they chased all over Maine. It's just the way it is. When you're not strong on something, when they know there's no ramifications for what's going to happen, hey, they're going to come.
President Trump in pretty good shape right now, in your judgment, politically?
I think he's in good shape. He's come out of one primary and one caucus very, very well. He will win, but it's going to be a tough election for the next 9 months. It's going to be very bumpy. There's going to be a lot of ill will out there amongst people, and we need to keep the rhetoric low and just have a good election, and hopefully President Trump gets elected.
Akila wants me to get out of this segment, but I love talking to you. I just want to say, I don't know if you heard my riff because they were moving you around. I didn't even know they were moving you around because that's the beauty of live TV. We'll get General Keane in a few moments. But just to come back to my former boss, which was Ronald Reagan, when I was a child, I worked as deputy in his budget office. All Iran did was they mined some parts of the Gulf, and I think they hit one frigate, okay? And in return for that, Reagan took out about half the Iranian Navy. Now,
Yeah, no more problems, right?
Senator Tuberville, kind of yearn for those days.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you call a deterrent. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it is kind of
Protect
funny.
the United States of America.
Yes.
That's what this administration is supposed to be doing, Larry, and they're not doing it.
Yes, sir. Afraid you're right on that. Senator Tommy Tuberville, the great state of Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.